Sounds resound like golden stone, ambitions shine like sun and moon. Good morning, today is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. Today in history, on this day 222 years ago, French 19th-century romantic writer Alexandre Dumas was born. His notable works include Henry III and His Court, The Count of Monte Cristo, and The Three Musketeers. Dumas's novels are celebrated for their clear structure, vivid language, and witty dialogues, earning him the title King of Popular Novels. Qingqiao, bridging the business world and delivering information to you. Welcome to today's Qingqiao Morning News. Let's start with political updates. Russia arrests U.S. journalist on espionage charges for the first time. According to Lianhe Xiaobao, on July 16, the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights expressed concern over the 16-year prison sentence imposed on American journalist Evan Gershkovich by a Russian court for espionage. Gershkovich, a 32-year-old U.S. citizen, has worked for various media outlets and has been a reporter for the Wall Street Journal in Russia since 2017. His reporting has covered topics such as military drafts, sanctions impact, Russia's isolation, and government suppression of anti-war activities. Gershkovich was sentenced after 3 secret court hearings in Ekaterinburg, Russia. Arrested in March 2023 while reporting in Ekaterinburg, he has been detained in Fortovo prison for nearly 16 months. This marks the first time since the Cold War that Russia has charged an American journalist with espionage. Russia claims he used his journalism role to gather confidential information about Russia's military industry. The European Parliament, Germany, the United Kingdom, and the Wall Street Journal have strongly condemned Russia's actions. Bangladesh protests lead to heavy casualties, court cancels most public office quotas. According to reports in Bangladesh, on July 21, the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh overturned a lower court decision to reinstate the civil service quota system, ruling that 93% of government positions will no longer have quotas. The quota system, previously abolished by Prime Minister Hasina's government in 2018, had been reinstated by a lower court decision last month, sparking widespread student protests. The students were opposed to the return of the quota system, which they argued would reserve positions for relatives of veterans and hinder job opportunities for young people. The ongoing protests, which began on July 13, have resulted in at least 114 deaths and thousands of injuries, with more than half of the fatalities attributed to police gunfire. Despite the Supreme Court ruling partially addressing their grievances, a spokesman for the student body stated that protests will continue until the government issues an order fully meeting their demands. Secondly, we'll bring you updates on military-related news. Hamas official denies withdrawing from Gaza ceasefire talks. China news agency reported that following Israel's recent major attack on the Gaza Strip, senior Hamas member Izzat Rashik, currently in Qatar, issued a statement refuting claims that Hamas had withdrawn from ceasefire negotiations. The attack, which targeted a humanitarian zone in Khan Yunis, resulted in at least 90 fatalities and was justified by Israel as a move to eliminate Hamas military leaders. 2 Egyptian sources involved in the ceasefire negotiations reported that after 3 days of intense discussions, the negotiations have been suspended. Rashik emphasized that Hamas remains committed to the negotiations, which are taking place in Doha, Qatar, and Cairo, Egypt. He indicated that despite the recent intensification of attacks by Israel, there are positive signs that a ceasefire agreement may be imminent. Rashik criticized Israel for attempting to derail the peace efforts led by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States through increased military aggression. Key component shortages delay Japan's Patriot missile production. According to Reuters, Japan's Mitsubishi Heavy Industries has recently secured a license from defense contractor Lockheed Martin to manufacture approximately 30 Patriot 3 missiles annually, with the potential to increase production to about 60 per year. However, the company has not yet received additional supplies of seekers, crucial components for the missile's terminal guidance, which may delay the ramp-up in production for several years. The United States aims to boost global annual production of these missiles from around 500 to over 750 in the near future. However, Japan's production challenges highlight the difficulties the U.S. faces in integrating international partners into its complex supply chain. Boeing has expanded its output at its U.S. Seeker facility by 30% since last year, but new production lines are not expected to come online until 2027. Now, let's turn our attention to the latest economic news. North Korea's trade with China accounted for 98.3% last year. Yonhap News Agency reported that on July 21, the Korea Trade and Investment Promotion Corporation released the North Korea Foreign Trade Trends in 2023 report, highlighting a significant increase in trade between North Korea and China. Last year, bilateral trade volume surged to $2.72 billion, a 96.7% rise compared to the previous year. North Korea's exports to China totaled $290 million, while imports from China reached $2.43 billion, resulting in a trade deficit of $2.14 billion. This is nearly double the deficit of $1.27 billion recorded in 2022. China, along with Vietnam, India, Mozambique, and Austria, constitutes North Korea's top 5 trading partners. China remains the dominant partner, accounting for 98.3% of North Korea's total trade, while the other 4 countries combined contribute only 1.7%. North Korea's largest export item is artificial cow hair and down, which saw an extraordinary increase of 1,332.5% year-on-year, reaching $170 million. All of these exports were directed to China, representing 51.6% of North Korea's total exports. In contrast, North Korea's largest imports continue to be crude oil, refined oil, and other mineral fuels and oils, though the value of these imports fell by 13.4% to $450 million. Now, here is some important safety information. Shooting at Croatian nursing home leaves at least 6 dead. On July 22, Agence France-Presse reported that Kresimir Pahaki, a 51-year-old retired military policeman, opened fire at a nursing home in Deruvar, Croatia, resulting in the deaths of 6 people and injuries to several others. Pahaki entered the facility armed and targeted his mother, other elderly residents, and staff. After the attack, he fled the scene but was quickly apprehended by police at a nearby cafe, where he was found with an unregistered firearm. Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković condemned the incident as barbaric and has called for a thorough investigation into the shooting. He also urged for stronger measures to prevent such violence, including tighter controls on weapon ownership. Croatian National Police Chief Nikola Milina reported that Pahaki had a history of police involvement related to disturbing public order and domestic violence. Finally, here's some intriguing cultural news. UK develops AI model to predict Alzheimer's disease earlier. According to Xinhua News Agency, a study led by the University of Cambridge has developed an AI prediction model that offers a non-invasive, cost-effective method to predict Alzheimer's disease within 3 years. Published in Electronic Clinical Medicine, the model was tested using data from clinics in the UK, Singapore, and other countries. The model has an 82% accuracy rate for predicting who will develop Alzheimer's and an 81% accuracy rate for predicting who will not. Currently, over 55 million people worldwide suffer from dementia, with Alzheimer's disease being the most common type. Accurate diagnosis typically requires expensive or complex tests like lumbar punctures or tomography, which are not available at all medical institutions. Consequently, up to 1/3 of Alzheimer's diagnoses may be incorrect, and some patients miss out on effective treatment due to late diagnosis. The research team aims to expand the model to predict other types of dementia and utilize additional data types, such as blood test markers. Financial newsletter. According to the Wall Street Journal, Lewin copper futures recently dropped below $9,200 per ton, reaching a new low for nearly 4 months. That's all for today's Qingqiao Morning News. Thank you for listening.